Revealed, the amazing request my son made after choosing his wife's birthday over my funeral. In the small town of Maplewood, where every corner seemed to whisper stories of yesteryears, Tom was a revered figure. At 58, he carried the weight of the world on his broad shoulders, evidence of hard-earned labor in his mechanic's hands. He was a war veteran, a loving father, and a man cherished by the community. Yet, here he was, confronting the impending shadow of stage 4 cancer. Even as the disease spread, Tom wore his pain like a badge of honor, his unwavering smile a testament to resilience. But lately, everything felt strained. His heart ached watching his son, Jake, juggle the pressures of adulthood. It stung to think that on what was meant to be a bittersweet day, his memorial service, Jake had chosen to celebrate his wife Emily's birthday instead. Tom swelled with love and resentment, feeling the weight of a ticking clock. Choose happiness while I lay to rest, he thought bitterly, the idea twisting in his chest like a knife. As Jake busied himself with balloons and cake, the small living room filled with laughter. Friends stopped by, offering stories about Tom's laugh, his refusal to back down, and that infectious love of life. Yet, there was an undercurrent of tension. You can't celebrate life while you're burying your father, Tom's voice trembled as he confronted Jake, emotions swirling like autumn leaves. The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken fears. I'm doing this for us, Dad. We need to keep moving forward. Jake shot back, frustration bubbling over. Each word cut deeper, and for a moment, it felt like they were miles apart, the love between them lost amid celebrations. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the fateful day approached, whispers of a secret tribute plan filled the air. Town folk rallied to honor Tom, even as Jake's party plans draped a veil over the day. But Tom, aware of his dwindling time, could sense both warmth and distance from his son. His heart raced with hope and despair. Hoping to share wisdom before it was too late, he couldn't shake the feeling of being overshadowed by Jake's grand celebration, all while holding back tears. The day finally arrived. Decorations adorned the space, a cacophony of colors contrasting with the deep melancholy in Tom. Jake felt torn, realizing that the party might rob them of their final goodbyes. The crowd gathered, laughter spilling out, but it felt like a barrier keeping Tom's heart locked away. What legacy would he leave behind? Would it be one of fleeting joy or meaningful connection? As Tom stood at the edge of the celebration, the echoes of laughter felt hollow. A choice loomed before Jake, a chance to redefine what it means to celebrate life. One question hovered: would he step forward, or would he remain captive to the glories of success and fleeting happiness, pushing the most important relationship away? With Tom's heart heavy and yearning for connection, would they find a way to honor each other in their final dance? As the afternoon sun streamed through the windows, casting a golden hue on the decorations, Jake felt the weight of anticipation wrapping around him. Laughter echoed from the other room, but it wasn't the sound that drew him, it was the silence from the corner where Tom sat, each chuckle a reminder of what this day meant for them both. There was cake, laughter, love, but it felt faintly like a parade passing him by. "Dad," Jake called, finally breaking through the festivities. He crossed the threshold, stepping into his father's space and meeting that familiar gaze, one that was filled with pride and pain. "I want to talk." Tom nodded slowly, his expression a mix of relief and uncertainty. "All right, son." They stepped outside onto the porch, the lively shouts of guests muffled by the thick wooden door. Here, the trees swayed lightly in the breeze, blissfully unaware of the turmoil churning inside them. Jake moved to lean against the railing, and Tom followed suit, their bodies framed by the late afternoon glow. "Listen," Jake began, his voice heavy with sincerity. "I know today's meant to be a celebration, but I feel like I'm ignoring you. Like I'm losing you, and I hate that." His chest tightened. I thought throwing this party would help us cope, help us move forward together. But now, I can't shake the feeling that I'm just running away from it all. Tom stayed silent, absorbing every word. The love he held for his son battled with the ache in his chest. Jake, I understand. But this isn't just about moving forward. It's about facing the truth together. A flicker of pain crossed Jake's face. What truth? He asked, his voice tapering off. Life changes, Tom replied, his tone treading softly. It goes on, yes. But change doesn't mean we forget the past or the people who helped shape us. I don't want you to grieve for me over a cake. I want you to celebrate the moments we had. Jake felt a lump rise in his throat. I thought celebrating would make it easier. That if we laughed, it would take away the sadness. That people could distract me, distract you. Laughing won't take away the hurt, son. It lightens it, but it doesn't erase it. Tom struggled with the thoughts trapped in his mind, not wanting to let time run out without giving Jake one last lesson. He cleared his throat, pressing the words past the growing lump. You deserve happiness, Jake. Don't ever feel guilty for that. But remember, it's not happiness at the cost of love or memory. They shared a long moment, the gravity of what lay ahead pulling them deeper into reflection. Tom could see the flickers of realization lighting up Jake's eyes. So what can we do? Jake finally whispered. We can find a way to honor both, Tom suggested gently. You can keep the party going, but you can also take a moment to say goodbye, and to celebrate what we shared. Jake inhaled deeply, the wheels turning in his mind. A wave of sadness crashed over him, mingling with the relief of clarity. I think I can do that. I want to open the floor for people to share stories about you. It's a celebration, but one that includes you. Tom's heart swelled, a bittersweet joy mingling with his sorrow. That sounds perfect. Just remember to leave space for yourself, too. You deserve to grieve as much as you celebrate. Nodding, Jake's voice trembled as he replied, I will, Dad. I promise. But just as hope began to blossom between them, the door flew open, and laughter poured out. The unseen was pressing out of the shadows, eager to erase the moment of sublime vulnerability. Would they find a way to truly unite the past with the present? As Jake turned back to the celebration, the sound of happiness crashed against the world they had just reached. In that moment, a thought crept into his mind. What if his tribute sparked something unexpected? A reminder of life's fragility and beauty, waiting just beneath the surface. Jake stepped back inside, the warmth of the living room wrapping around him like a familiar blanket. Guests were gathered in clusters, chatter mixing with the sweet scent of cake. A part of him wanted to crumble under the weight of the moment, but he forced a smile. Let us keep this going, he announced, loud enough to catch everyone's attention. He felt his heart race, the nervous energy crackling in the air as all eyes turned to him. A few smiles turned upward in response. I want to hear stories. The room quieted slightly, curiosity shadowing the earlier laughter. About my dad, Jake continued, his voice steadying as he pointed at Tom. Let us share some memories. We all have something. Tom beamed, pride washing over him. It was a small victory in an uncertain world, where sharing stories felt less like moving on and more like holding on to threads of love, weaving them into something new. Jake, Buddy, one of the guests, Ms. Rogers, who had known Tom since childhood, stepped forward. Your father has always been the heart of our community. We all have stories. Jake echoed her sentiments, each reconnection spurring their spirit forward, even the ache lingering in the air. Yeah, every moment has mattered, he said, feeling the room shift. Today is about celebrating that. Whatever it is, funny, goofy, heartfelt, we need it all. Ms. Rogers chuckled, her eyes shimmering with affection. I remember the time Tom tried to coach the kids' soccer team. We were all just running around, and he kept calling out instructions. But let us be real, none of us knew what we were doing. Laughter erupted, breaking the tense atmosphere apart like sunlight breaking through clouds. As the stories unfolded, a warmth blossomed in Jake's chest. He felt the weight of shared experiences lifting, like the sun breaking the dawn. Each tale was a bridge connecting the past to the present. Tom leaned back against the wall, a proud smile plastered on his face as memories washed over him, their laughter binding them closer together. Someone else chimed in, this time it was Mark, a family friend. And those camping trips, right? Remember when we went to the lake and your dad made those awful s'mores? They were charcoal bricks. The laughter grew like wildfire, igniting a fire of joy that pushed back the shadows hanging around them. Jake leaned back, soaking it all in. He felt lighter, surrounded by people who cherished the same moments he held dear. It didn't feel like an ending, more like a reconstitution of what it meant to love. But then, amid the joyous barrage of nostalgia, a silence slipped in, as if the universe held its breath. The door creaked open, and in came Lily, an unexpected presence. Tom's face twitched at the sight of her. Jake's heart raced. This was complicated territory. Lily, his father's favorite nurse, had been more than a simple acquaintance. There were whispers of a connection, a bond that ran deeper than friendship. A commotion rippled through the guests, blending excitement with concern. Jake felt torn. He couldn't help remembering the late-night talks he'd overheard, the laughter mingled with secrets. What would she think of the tribute? Would she feel like an intruder, or could she shed light on their hidden chapters? As she took a step forward, a mixture of apprehension and hope stirred within him. Jake, she said softly, I just want to say something. The room pulsed with anticipation. What was she about to reveal? Would her words reshape this moment? Jake's breath caught, the air felt thick with uncertainty, as if they were all holding their breath, waiting for a revelation that could change everything. Jake held his breath, eyes fixed on Lily as she gathered her thoughts. The room seemed to shrink around her, the laughter and warmth suddenly distant, replaced by a collective breath held in suspense. Tom, she began, her voice lilting like a gentle breeze brushing through a troubled sea. I didn't want to interrupt. But I think she hesitated, glancing at the guests, their eyes burning with curiosity, and then back at Jake. I think you deserve to know just how much your dad meant to all of us. And to me. Jake's heart thudded against his ribs. He felt both exhilarated and terrified. Would she share something more, a secret, a confession? Your father was not just a friend, she continued, gathering courage. He was my compass when I lost my way. He picked me up when I slipped in the dark. Lily stepped closer, her eyes glistening as she spoke. He taught me how to live fully, to embrace joy even in the face of pain. A soft murmur swept through the crowd, a mixture of surprise and emotion. Tom's smile remained, but there was an intensity in his gaze now, a flicker of vulnerability. It was during those long shifts in the hospital, sharing stories and laughter when no one was watching, she said, her voice stronger now. He opened up about you, about how proud he was to be your dad. Every moment spent with you brought him so much light. A silent gasp flew through the room, a wave of empathy crashing down as people processed the weight of her words. Jake felt the warmth creep into his chest again, mingling with uncertainty. So, she had seen another side of his father, the side that often stayed cloaked in the house, content but sometimes isolated. I want to share something very personal, Lily added, courage brightening her eyes. Just before your dad passed, he made me promise to tell you something, when the time was right. Jake's breath hitched. Why would his dad leave a final message, and why now? What? He asked urgently, tension snapping like a taut wire. Lily's voice turned soft, filled with emotion. He wanted you to know that it's okay to feel lost. It's okay to find your own path, even if it means stepping outside of his shadow. He believed in you, Jake, in ways that will surprise you. He had faith you would find your way even when he wasn't there. The room held its breath for another moment before suddenly erupting into whispers and murmurs. That bittersweet truth seemed to resonate, each person processing their own grief, their own hopes. With her words lingering in the air, Jake felt the dam inside him break. Tears welled in his eyes as he felt the weight of his father's love enfolding him once again. He remembered the talks late at night, how vulnerable his father had been, and now there was strength in the grief pushing him forward. Lily stepped closer, her hand resting on his arm. Jake, this isn't about just holding on to his memory. He would have wanted you to live fully, to embrace life with open arms. Jake nodded, understanding now the depth of her connection with his father. But amidst the revelation, a thought flickered in his mind. What else was there between you and my dad? She hesitated, uncertainty flickering in her gaze. The room was charged with an electric anticipation. Everyone leaned closer, wanting to know. Jake felt as if the ground beneath him was about to shift again, a whirlwind of confusion and revelation asking for more than just closure. What was she going to reveal? Would it shift his understanding of his father, or perhaps even of his own life? Lily took a deep breath, her face reflecting a mix of hesitation and resolve. The room felt heavier, as if the air had thickened with an unspoken truth that hovered over them all. Jake's heart raced, each beat echoed louder as he awaited her answer, caught between dread and curiosity. Jake, she finally said, her voice steadying itself. Your dad and I had a bond built on trust. He was my rock when I was on the brink, and I think he wanted more than friendship, a friendship that teetered on the edge of something deeper. The murmurs in the crowd softened, each listener hanging on her every word. Jake's mind reeled. Had his father felt something more for Lily? A wave of conflicting emotions washed over him, anger, confusion, and a flicker of understanding for a man burdened by his own shadows. He was so supportive of my life choices, Lily continued, her gaze unwavering. When I struggled with my own demons, he stood by me. He gave me perspective when I couldn't see the road ahead. Jake clenched his fists at his sides. The picture Lily was painting was one of profound intimacy, illuminating a side of his father that he'd never known. But then another thought struck him like a lightning bolt. What did this mean for the memory of his father? Did you love him? The question burst from Jake's lips before he could filter it. He felt the weight of the question clinging to the room, thickening the atmosphere with anticipation. Her eyes softened, uncertainty crossing her features. In a way, yes. But it was a different kind of love. One forged in moments of hardship. He truly wanted to support me, and in that, I cared deeply for him. He was my safe space. Jake's heart twisted. Could it be that his father had held on to friendships that blurred the lines, friendships that had supported him in his own struggles? Was his father's world so multi-layered that he had created these hidden connections? Lily pressed on. But the promise I made to your dad was to look after you, to ensure you knew the fullness of his love. He never wanted you to feel like you weren't enough, even when he was gone. He could see tears forming in her eyes. Was this all about him? The sadness, the deep history they shared, yet here he was vulnerable, questioning the nature of love and loss. Jake, she whispered, stepping closer as if to break down those invisible walls he had built. Your dad wanted you to embrace life, to never feel burdened by his past or any choices he made. He believed your future is bright, filled with possibilities. Just like he did for me. And what if that future includes you? The thought slipped out, unfiltered and raw. He felt the room tighten again, charging the air with electric tension. Can I really let myself accept that? She paused, her mouth opening then closing as though wrestling with her own emotions. That's for you to decide. But know this, love can be complicated, no matter the form it takes. Your father's heart was big enough to hold it all. And it's time for you to find that same strength. A hum of discussion rippled through the crowd, and Jake strained to absorb Lily's words. She was right, but the unraveling of what he perceived to be true about his father was just beginning. The world felt both expansive and suffocating, and his mind spun in multiple directions, trying to align the past with the weight of the present. As he stood there, Lily watching him with that unwavering gaze, he felt the smallest flicker of hope mingling with despair. Would he step into the light, or retreat into the dimness that once felt so safe? Jake, no matter your choice, remember that you are not alone, Lily said softly. And that your father's love, however complex, is still a part of who you are. Embrace that light. As her words settled in, Jake faced a choice. Would he let the shadows of doubt consume him, Or would he step forward into a life filled with hope, acceptance, and unexpected connections? Uncertainty wrapped around him like a warm blanket, yet he sensed an undeniable spark that called him towards something brighter. He took a step back, needing space to breathe, to think. The crowd waited, the moment stretching into eternity. But one question hung above all others: was he ready to confront these newfound truths? And what would he choose to reveal about himself next? Jake stepped away from Lily, his mind buzzing with her revelations. The murmurs of the crowd faded into a low hum, almost indistinguishable from the chaos swirling inside his thoughts. Shadows from the past danced through his memory, flickering between childhood snippets of laughter and quiet, private moments with his dad, now tinged with doubt. As much as he longed to understand the truth, part of him wanted to cling to a simpler version of reality, one where his father had been nothing but perfect. That he glanced around the room, the familiar faces of family and friends blurring into a sea of emotions. Their expressions ranged from concern to curiosity, each person holding their own thoughts about the confession that had just unraveled before them. Was he the only one struggling to piece it all together? A deep sense of isolation washed over him, igniting a fire of determination within. He looked back to Lily. Her vulnerability, her raw sincerity, cracked open something in him that he had kept locked away. "I don't know how to embrace this," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I've always seen my dad as this untouchable figure, this ideal. How can I reconcile that with this new reality?" Lily stepped even closer, her eyes reflecting compassion. "You start by accepting all parts of him, Jake. Every single part. It doesn't erase the love you had for him. It merely adds depth to it. He was human, flawed, just like the rest of us." Her words settled in him, like a puzzle piece finally fitting snugly into place. He had grown so used to idolizing his father that he never allowed himself to see the man behind the pedestal. Maybe embracing this complexity was the very thing that would set him free. What if I don't know how?" The timbre of his voice waffled, uncertainty creeping in once more. "What if I can't let go of the anger or hurt?" "Then you lean into it," Lily responded, firm yet nurturing. "You give yourself permission to feel and to grieve." She paused, a tremor tracing her lips. "This isn't easy. But you've got to want it. You've got to want to heal." Jake exhaled, the breath hitching in his throat. Healing. The word felt like a distant memory, something buried deep beneath layers of unprocessed grief. He had been so busy trying to forget, trying to honor a memory by living in a way that kept him from connecting with the reality of what was lost. But what if reconnecting could lead him to a better place? The clock on the wall ticked steadily, every second stretching into a choice, a decision that he could feel pulsing through the room. If I open up to this new understanding of my dad, what happens then? He questioned, looking down, as if the answer lay in the cool floor beneath his feet. You make room for love and for moving forward. His gaze snapped back up to hers, something flickering in the distance of his imagination, a future where he didn't have to drown in his father's shadow but could shine in the light of their shared history. Lily, if I do this, if I try to really understand, will you be there? The vulnerability in his voice belied the intensity of his need. It felt strange admitting it out loud, allowing someone to truly stand alongside him in both darkness and light. Always, she replied, a serene smile breaking through the storm. I'm here for you, Jake. It's time to embrace your story, and I want to be part of it. That simple assurance felt monumental. For the first time, Jake sensed that he could learn to love his father's memory in a way that was uncomplicated by idealism. Tomorrow would bring challenges, but right now, he felt the flicker of hope merge with determination, and yet, a different question beckoned at the edge of his mind. If he embraced this path, what truths might it unveil about himself that he had never dared uncover? What revelations lay just beyond the horizon, waiting to be discovered? Jake stood in the center of the room, a tapestry of vibrant conversations swirling around him, yet he felt as if he was suspended in a bubble, separate from it all. The gravity of what lay ahead loomed over him like an afternoon thunderstorm, brewing with uncertainty and uncharted emotions. The warmth from Lily's presence lingered beside him, a grounding force in the midst of the tempest. He took a deep breath, his heart beating like a drum in his chest. What lay ahead was not just about reconciling his father's complexities, but also about confronting the deeper shadows lurking within his own heart. "What do I do first?" he asked, hoping for clarity amidst the confusion. He sought assurance and guidance within the depths of Lily's warm gaze. "Start with the stories," she suggested. "Share what you remember. Write them down if you can. The good, the bad, all of it." Jake nodded slowly, the idea stirring something inside. "I haven't thought about that in so long. It's like I pushed those memories away. But what if they hold the key to understanding?" "Exactly," she said, her enthusiasm brightening her features. "Each story connects you to him, to yourself. You'll discover parts of your dad that shaped you, and you'll find your own path through it all." Jake eyed the group again, feeling a mix of eagerness and fear. What if digging into his past unearthed wounds he thought had healed? But then again, wasn't he at time? He remembered his father's goofy laugh during fishing trips, how they spent summers casting lines together. Those days felt like a lifetime ago, clouded by unexpressed feelings. Suddenly, a wave of daring washed over him, pushing him to leap into the unknown journey ahead. "Would you help me?" Jake asked, hoping for the strength he needed. "Would you be there when I share my stories?" "Of course," Lily said, without hesitation. "We can do this together. I'll be right by your side to help sort through it all." He could feel his pulse quicken at her words. The thought of sharing those cherished, yet painful memories seemed less daunting. With Lily's support, he felt a growing sense of courage. Jake took a step forward, gaining momentum. "I think I want to start today. I want to write about the first time I caught a fish with him." The words flowed, and suddenly, the stories felt fluid and alive, cascading from his heart into his mind. Lily clasped his arm with gentle affirmation. "See? You're already on the right path. Each word is a brick in the foundation of your healing." As their conversation flowed, he felt a newfound connection to his past. His father's laughter echoed, mingling with the sound of pens scratching paper. But as excitement surged, an unsettling thought crept in. Was he ready for the hurdles ahead? For the moments that might hurt more than they healed, before they could delve deeper, a familiar face approached. William, his younger brother, wore an expression of concern. "Hey, Jake. I need to talk to you about Dad." The words hung thick in the air, an unexpected interruption. Jake's heart pounded and a chill ran through him. What more could there be? Were there more secrets waiting to surface, more truths to grapple with? "Yeah, okay," Jake replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. He glanced at Lily, who nodded reassuringly. In that moment, he realized that stepping into this unknown territory was only the beginning. With each step forward, he could either embrace the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, or risk retreating into the shadows once more. The journey ahead had just begun, but so did his quest for understanding. What awaited him in the conversation with his brother? Would it bring clarity or further chaos? The weight of hope and dread carried him forward as he prepared for whatever truths might be unveiled. Jake felt his stomach twist into tight knots as he focused on William's anxious face. A look of certainty wavered in his brother's eyes, a mixture of determination and fear that reflected his own inner turmoil. The room around them buzzed with life, but for Jake, it felt like a single spotlight illuminated the space where they stood, underscoring the weight of this moment. "Can we step outside?" William asked, voice low but urgent. There was a sense of urgency in his voice that made Jake nod, feeling pulled into a vortex of uncertainty. He glanced at Lily, who offered him a gentle smile, a silent assurance that this was a step worth taking. Once outside, the cool evening air wrapped around them like a blanket of calm, but inside, Jake was anything but peaceful. "What is going on?" he pressed, an edge creeping into his voice. William shifted uneasily, his hands digging into his pockets. "I've been trying to make sense of our dad's decisions," what he did before he trailed off, hesitation evident as he searched for the right words. "I don't even know how to say this, but I think we need to talk about the choices he made, the ones that didn't make sense at first." Jake's heart raced. He had always thought of his father as the anchor, the rock who held everything together. "What do you mean?" He asked, his voice trembling slightly. Remember the funeral? The night before, Dad called me. He was not himself. He was distant, almost like he knew something we didn't. He kept talking about how important it was we support each other, but then, there was this weird moment. William's voice dropped to a whisper. It's like he wanted to say something that mattered. But then he just changed the subject. Jake swallowed hard, pieces of a puzzle he had never seen before beginning to twist together. What would he have needed to say? I couldn't connect the dots. Until now. William looked straight into Jake's eyes, determination replacing fear. I think he was trying to tell us something about his wishes, his regrets. But we never took the time to listen, Jake. Silence sat heavy between them as they both absorbed the weight of William's words. Jake's mind raced. His father, an unpredictable storm of a man, had always been the type to bury feelings beneath layers of jokes and distractions. But what had he been hiding? Do you think he had regrets about us? Jake's voice cracked, an emotional honesty spilling out he never expected. About life? About us? I don't know, William replied, shaking his head. But I feel like we're standing on the edge of something big. Something we could either dig into or avoid. The truth is, I don't want to leave it all unsaid, and I don't want you to either, Jake. Jake could feel himself grappling with a wave of memories, fragments of conversations that hadn't made sense, gestures that seemed off. Had their father been trying to protect them? Or was it the other way around? Had they been avoiding something he desperately wanted to share? Might there be something more to his choices? Jake wondered aloud, the idea sending shivers down his spine. It felt overwhelming and exhilarating at the same time. What if this is about who he was, not just what he left behind? I think we owe it to him, to ourselves, to find out, William stated, a steely resolve in his eyes. It's not just about the past, it's about what comes next. The wind rustled through the leaves, almost echoing their unspoken fears and hopes. Jake's heart pounded again, this time with a mix of terror and excitement at the thought of unearthing truths long buried. Could he muster the strength to confront the shadow of their father's choices? What if they uncovered something that could reshape everything he believed about the man who raised him? As the weight of the conversation settled, one question lingered heavily in the air. Were they prepared for whatever truths awaited them at the crossroads of past regrets and future revelations? The chill of the evening air felt sharper as Jake and William stood under the vast sky, stars twinkling like distant reminders of what they held dear. Yet, the unease between them was palpable, as if the universe itself held its breath, waiting for their next move. Okay, so what do we do? Jake finally asked, his voice steady yet uncertain. He could almost hear the trembling of his own heart echoing in the stillness. William shifted again, glancing down the path that led back into the warmth of the gathering. I think we should go through Dad's things, he declared, a spark igniting in his eyes. Maybe he left a letter or something that explains, I don't know, everything. The idea felt monumental. What if they found something that would expose wounds too painful or revelations that would turn everything they knew upside down? Paradoxically, that thought both terrified and intrigued Jake, pushing him to explore their father's world, even if it meant treading through memories covered in dust and time. Yeah, that makes sense, Jake replied, his resolve building. We can start in his study. He kept everything in there, his papers, the old photos. He wouldn't just throw things away. William nodded, his expression serious. We need to be careful, though. Uncovering stuff about him might bring up feelings we're not ready to deal with. As they walked back toward the house, a golden light spilled out from the windows, contrasting the cold darkness outside. Inside, voices mingled, laughter and warmth permeating through the air, reminding Jake of the facade of normalcy they all wore. He hesitated, torn between the comfort of laughter and the unsettling journey ahead. Are you ready for this? William asked, sensing Jake's hesitance. Jake took a deep breath, feeling a sudden rush of emotions. We have to know. For ourselves. For him. As he spoke, determination settled into his chest, replacing the anxiety that had been weighing him down. With a shared look of understanding, they headed to their father's study. The room felt small and intimate, filled with traces of their father's spirit. Dust motes danced in the air, caught in the light filtering through the window. Books lined the walls, each title a testimony to a life filled with stories, adventures, and perhaps, secrets. William moved to the desk first. He started browsing through papers while Jake leaned against the bookshelf, running his fingers along the spines, seeking familiarity in a space that felt almost foreign now. The silence was thick, heavy with the weight of what they were about to confront. Here. William's voice broke through the stillness, excitement laced with fear. Look at this. He held up a worn envelope, yellowing at the edges, the name Jake hastily scrawled across the front. A knot formed in Jake's stomach, as if unraveling the envelope might unleash something far beyond what anyone could handle. What does it say? He asked hesitantly as William slid the letter open. Let us read it together, William suggested, eyes wide with anticipation. As they unfolded the letter, the scent of aged paper filled the air, transporting them back in time with every crease and fold. Jake's heart raced, the weight of the moment sinking in. The words inside might just reveal the dreams, fears, and regrets their father had kept hidden. He felt a tingle of electricity coursing through him, a mix of trepidation and hope. If this changes everything, are we ready for that? Just as William began to read aloud, the door creaked behind them. Lily had followed, her curious eyes meeting theirs. What is going on? She asked softly, sensing the tension in the room. Jake and William exchanged knowing glances. Were they ready to let her in on this? Would sharing their father's secrets bring them closer together, or would it drive them further apart? Come in, Jake finally said, the decision made. You might want to hear this too. As the truth began to unravel, the question lingered: were they prepared for the revelations that would forever transform their understanding of the man they thought they knew? As Jake and William stood in their father's study, the air felt charged. Lily entered, her presence like a warm light cutting through the tension. They shared a moment of quiet understanding before turning their focus back to the envelope in William's hands. William cleared his throat, unfolding the letter carefully, as if afraid it would crumble under the weight of its own truth. Here goes, he said, his voice steady despite the trembling excitement underneath. Jake, he began to read, if you're reading this, then I'm no longer around, and I wish I could be there to talk to you face to face. I want to say things I've never said out loud. Jake's heart thudded in his chest as he listened. Each word felt like a bridge between the past and the present, connecting him to his father in a way he had longed for. I know the past few months have been overwhelming. I want you to understand how deeply I love you and how proud I am to have been your father. But I also want to share my regrets. Regrets? Jake whispered, glancing at William, who was just as riveted. I wasn't always the perfect dad. I've made decisions I wish I could take back. I hope you can forgive me for the times I wasn't there or when I prioritized the wrong things. Jake felt a rush of emotion. The man he idolized had vulnerabilities, just like him. His father was indeed human, a truth that resonated in his bones. Don't let my choices weigh on your heart. You have your own life to live, and I want you to embrace every moment of it, William read on, his voice clear and firm. Don't let fear hold you back. Reach for what makes you happy, whether it's in your career or relationships. Life is too short to dwell in the shadows of the past. Jake felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. The room was alive with the echoes of his father's voice, a balm for the wounds he carried. And please, the letter continued, look after your brother. He may seem strong, but like all of us, he has his struggles. Don't let your bond falter, it's a treasure worth protecting. Jake met William's gaze, both surprised and comforted by the reminder of their connection. They had faced so much together, and this was just another chapter. I love you both more than I can express. Remember the laughter we shared, and let that be the light guiding you forward. The letter's final words hung in the air like a promise. Jake could already feel their weight lifting, a surge of new determination surging in him. When William finished reading, an almost sacred silence enveloped them. They were left not only with words but a shared understanding of their father's depth and humanity. Wow, Jake finally breathed, feeling the tension in his chest ease. He was scared, just like us. But he wanted us to be okay. He wanted us to live. Lily stepped in closer, her hand resting gently on Jake's shoulder. It sounds like your dad was guiding you even beyond the grave. He had faith in you both. Jake looked at her, recognition dawning through the haze of grief. You're right. He never did want us to feel burdened. He always wanted us to find joy. William wiped a tear from his cheek, glancing at the letter again. We need to honor this. Not just by living, but by sharing these memories, just like today. We have to keep his spirit alive. Let us do it together, Jake affirmed, feeling emboldened. Outside, the laughter of the guests blurred into a comforting harmony. He turned back to the letter, glancing down at the aching words. For every regret, there was a lesson. For every shadow, there was a light. I know it won't always be easy, Jake said, looking at his brother and Lily with newfound resolve. But it's a journey one we take together. Let us tell stories, celebrate who he was, and honor what he wanted us to be. With that, they stepped out of the study and back into the warm embrace of family and friends. The lights spilled over them, reflecting the setting sun, igniting hope and the spirit of love that had been reborn in that moment. Tom's essence would not be forgotten, it would be woven into their lives as they moved forward, aided by each other. This was the beginning of healing, a step toward the future that embraced every part of their shared past. Jake felt uplifted, and the shadows began to fall away, unveiling possibilities laid bare before him. As they joined the celebration, the memories and stories awaited, bringing him closer to understanding not only his father but himself. Lifted together, buoyed by love, laughter, and shared stories, they found the way forward where love embraced all complexities. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, Jake made a silent promise to keep searching for the light, even when the storms thundered around him. Now, as you reflect on this compelling journey, it's your turn to make an impact. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find this powerful narrative. Comment below your reactions and feelings about the ending. You need to share your voice. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans know the importance of supporting this channel through these actions.